Fat in the liver is not a sign of aging. It's a silent precursor to heart attacks and strokes. It doesn't ache, burn, or cry out. You continue your life as usual, perhaps only feeling a slight heaviness after meals. Meanwhile, your liver is gradually transforming into a fatty storage unit, becoming inflamed and losing its protective capabilities. The most frustrating part is that in most instances this isn't a terminal diagnosis but a reversible condition, provided you wake up in time. Today, fatty liver disease affects 1 in every 3 or 4 individuals over the age of 50. Many remain unaware, stumbling upon diffuse fatty changes in their liver during an ultrasound. They sigh, dismiss it as a part of getting older, and carry on. Soon after, problems with blood sugar, blood pressure, and heart health emerge, accompanied by excess weight, fatigue, and mental fogginess. These aren't random occurrences. Liver fat sits at the core of this metabolic turmoil, the foundation of the chaos that systematically erodes your body. I'll be direct and perhaps blunt. If you make no changes, fatty liver disease will inevitably lead to serious trouble. However, if you approach your health with seriousness, without panic or seeking miracle cures, your liver possesses an extraordinary capacity for self-repair unmatched by any other organ. It can cleanse itself of fat, regenerate, and resume optimal function. This isn't mere rhetoric. It's supported by scientific findings. Shedding just 7 to 10% of your excess body weight significantly reduces liver fat, mitigates inflammation, and can even halt the progression of fibrosis. Yet, there's a common pitfall that ensnares thousands. They turn to medication first, pleading with their doctor for a liver remedy, a magic pill. While medications can be helpful in specific scenarios, they can never counteract a poor diet, excessive sugar intake, alcohol consumption, obesity, and a sedentary lifestyle. Medications are, at best, supportive players in this scenario. The real work is done not by what comes from the pharmacy, but by what graces your plate daily. And this is where the most fascinating part unfolds. Certain foods actively collaborate with your liver, assisting it in better fat processing, enhancing metabolism, and reducing levels of harmful cholesterol and inflammation. Conversely, some foods we habitually consume, oblivious to their detrimental impact, exacerbate liver fat accumulation, elevate blood sugar, and accelerate vascular aging. And then there's a single, remarkably simple and widely accessible product that, when consumed consistently and correctly, often proves more potent than trendy hepatoprotective agents and dietary supplements. This is especially true for individuals in your age group, where the body is still receptive to intervention, though it no longer forgives carelessness. Before revealing this product, it's crucial to understand the nature of the problem. Liver fat isn't merely an excess reserve, it's active adipose tissue within the organ that disrupts the function of the entire body. It renders liver cells insulin-resistant, overworks the pancreas, and elevates blood sugar, triglyceride, and bad cholesterol levels. This escalating risk profile heightens the chances of developing diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, and certain cancers. And all of this can unfold for years without acute pain, manifesting only as fatigue, morning sluggishness, post-meal drowsiness, and a dull ache beneath the right rib cage. I frequently encounter a familiar scenario, a person aged 55 to 65. They've worked their entire lives prioritizing their families over their own well-being. They carry an extra 10 to 15 kilograms, contend with elevated blood pressure, and occasionally take medication for blood sugar. An ultrasound reveals fatty liver disease, and blood tests show elevated liver enzymes. In the clinic, they might ask, "Oh, doctor, how serious is my liver condition?" The most unfortunate aspect is that at this juncture, they still have the power to reverse the situation. However, if they simply leave with a prescription and make no lifestyle changes, within 5 to 10 years, we'll be discussing cirrhosis, complex procedures, and the risks of oncology. By then, it will truly be too late to act. I emphasize this period after 50 because at this age, the liver retains a capacity for regeneration, though its pace has diminished compared to one's 30s. Every misguided choice is another step toward a point of no return. Conversely, every small correct action, reducing portion sizes of sweets, substituting unhealthy side dishes, incorporating a beneficial food into your breakfast, or taking a walk after dinner, becomes a tangible investment in halting liver fat accumulation and initiating its gradual clearance. It's vital that you grasp another key point. Fatty liver in older adults isn't about aesthetics or following fashionable diets. It's about preserving years of life free from disability, maintaining mental clarity, and ensuring you can independently walk, think, and enjoy your grandchildren, rather than languishing in an intensive care unit after a stroke. The liver is the epicenter of metabolism. Care for it, and you'll reap bonuses for your heart, blood vessels, joints, and memory. In today's world, advice often bombards us. Some advocate for miraculous cleansing regimens, others propose liver purges with fasting and copious amounts of oil, while some peddle expensive supplements for every ailment. I approach such claims with calm but critical scrutiny. If there's a lack of robust scientific evidence, if a method is hazardous or futile, it holds no interest for me. I rely on scientifically validated principles, moderate weight reduction, sensible physical activity, a balanced diet, and a select group of specific foods that demonstrably improve liver health. And it is to one of these specific products that we will gradually lead our discussion today. It's not an exotic ingredient, a rare powder, or an expensive imported pharmaceutical. It's something readily available in any supermarket, something many of you might already use, perhaps not in the most effective form or with sufficient regularity. Recent research indicates that its consistent inclusion in your diet reduces liver fat, improves metabolic markers, aids in cholesterol management, and diminishes inflammation. In several cases, the observed improvements in lab results and ultrasounds are more pronounced than in individuals who simply take medication while maintaining their previous eating habits. Let me clarify immediately. Don't expect liver fat to vanish in a week. That's not how it works. However, if you commit to at least 3 to 6 months of conscious eating, incorporate the right product, and adopt a few simple habits we'll discuss, you will witness tangible improvements. Heaviness will dissipate, lab results will normalize, sleep will improve, mental clarity will sharpen, and endurance will increase. The liver thrives on consistency and patience. Now I'll ask you to do something small. If your liver health is important to you and you wish to see the continuation of this discussion, where we'll explore the habits that are currently harming your liver and how to replace them without panic, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. This isn't just a formality. For you, it's a way to retain vital information. For me, it's a signal that I should delve deeper step by step into topics that are often discussed superficially. We will then calmly and systematically examine what precisely occurs in the liver, why fat accumulates even in those who eat sparingly, and what daily actions lay the groundwork for the simple product I will ultimately reveal. I will demonstrate how it outperforms most medications when everything else is properly organized. When individuals first hear that the liver can be detoxified not with pills but with simple actions, they often express skepticism, which is understandable. We've been conditioned for too long to believe that health solutions are inherently complex and that remedies must come in packaged forms with instructions. However, a closer look at the biology of a mature body reveals a different truth. The liver falters not due to a lack of medication, but due to chronic overload. It's akin to a person forced to work without rest. They begin to deteriorate slowly, even if they are given abundant vitamins. Therefore, the first and most impactful change is reducing the daily burden on your liver. This is where we encounter something that many find unexpected. In adulthood, metabolism naturally slows down. Every consumed calorie lingers longer in the body, and every instance of overeating places a greater strain on the liver. This is precisely why one of the most powerful and scientifically validated methods for liver relief is the so-called metabolic window, or more simply, a brief evening fasting period. This isn't about strict dieting, starvation, or self-deprivation. It's merely about creating a pause, allowing the liver to focus on repair rather than digestion. Scientific data indicates that even in individuals over 55, shortening their evening meal intake by merely 1 to 2 hours leads to a reduction in liver enzymes within weeks. This is attributed to the fact that an overnight fast initiates cleansing processes, autophagy, the breakdown of fat droplets, and insulin reduction. The liver, being an organ highly sensitive to insulin levels, experiences intensified natural fat elimination from within cells when insulin is low overnight. This mechanism yields rapid results, which patients typically notice within 5 to 7 days. I recall a woman in her late 50s who presented with complaints of persistent heaviness and drowsiness. Her tests revealed significant liver fat accumulation. She had tried various remedies, including herbal teas and diets, all to no avail. Her condition remained unchanged. When we simply shifted her dinner time an hour earlier and eliminated calorie-laden snacks after 8 in the evening, after a week, she uttered a phrase I hear frequently: "I feel like I can breathe easier." This isn't magic, it's physiology. Overnight, the liver finally gained the opportunity to work for itself rather than processing yet another meal. Many ask why this approach is particularly effective for older individuals. The answer is straightforward. Younger bodies have faster metabolisms, greater reserves, and more active hormonal systems. In older individuals, conversely, every dietary mistake is more pronounced. Each late meal spikes insulin, disrupts deep sleep, and compels the liver to store excess fat. Therefore, even a minor adjustment, such as eliminating an evening sweet or advancing dinner by an hour, triggers a cascade of improvements that result in a sense of lightness within days. This is precisely what makes the method so valuable. It's natural, gentle, and requires no self-inflicted hardship. In scientific terms, the liver processes fats overnight through beta oxidation. This process only occurs when insulin levels are low. Consequently, any late snacking blocks this mechanism. Even a glass of sugary yogurt in the evening can nearly halt nocturnal cleansing. Conversely, providing the liver with an uninterrupted night is like opening a window in a stuffy room. It effectively exhales excess. However, knowledge alone is insufficient. Action is paramount. If you desire to experience tangible results, undertake a small exercise today. Select a time when you typically conclude your dinner. Simply note it down and, for the next 7 days, aim to finish your last meal 90 minutes earlier than usual. No strict prohibitions, no suffering, just one extended pause. Within a week, you will observe that your sleep becomes more restorative, mornings feel lighter, and post-meal heaviness occurs less frequently. These are not subjective feelings, they are the tangible outcomes of your liver finally having the opportunity to recover. And while you monitor these initial changes, we can turn our attention to the next crucial element, the very product that enhances this effect, assisting your liver in operating more smoothly and cleanly. This product is simple, familiar, and often underestimated. research shows it can improve liver markers sometimes more effectively than medications prescribed for years. We will approach its introduction gradually, as understanding its power hinges on recognizing the importance of alleviating the liver's excessive load. When the liver is granted even a small respite for recovery, internal processes begin which, while rarely consciously perceived, profoundly impact well-being. This is where the element I mentioned at the outset becomes critically important: a simple, accessible product whose effectiveness is often overlooked precisely because it is so commonplace. We tend to associate efficacy with expense and complexity, but the liver operates with far greater wisdom. It responds not to price, but to biological significance, and this is where the most intriguing aspects emerge. One product amplifies nighttime cleansing processes so remarkably that patients themselves are often astonished by how much lighter they feel within days. This product is a common soluble fiber component that most people overlook. Specifically, it's simple oat bran fiber or natural oat hull. Not flakes, not sugary cereals, and not instant mixes, but rather the bran, the outer layer of the grain. Why this particular component? Because in adulthood, the body's rate of toxin and metabolic byproduct elimination significantly slows down, and bran performs several crucial functions simultaneously. It binds fatty acids in the gut, reducing the absorption of excess fat into the liver. It lowers the glycemic load, it stabilizes cholesterol levels, and most importantly, it cultivates an environment conducive to a healthy gut microbiome, which is directly linked to liver health. Recent scientific studies clearly demonstrate that in individuals over 50, regular consumption of dietary fiber, particularly that found in oat hulls, reduces liver enzyme levels within 4 to 6 weeks. This isn't a rapid spike, but a gradual, reliable improvement. Unlike many medications that only work while being taken, oat fiber operates differently. It diminishes the flow of fat reaching the liver and simultaneously reduces inflammation through the natural production of short-chain fatty acids in the gut. These substances are the primary energy source for intestinal cells and contribute to immune function, which is directly connected to the liver. I'm often reminded of a 63-year-old man who worked as a driver his entire life. His job was sedentary, he ate infrequently, and he had a habit of consuming pastries and sweet tea to combat fatigue. His tests indicated significant fatty infiltration. He was skeptical that oats could help, but agreed to try 1 teaspoon of bran in a glass of water each morning for 1 week, without any other changes. After 7 days, he echoed a sentiment I've heard countless times. For the first time in a long while, I no longer feel heavy after eating. This isn't a miracle, it's a mechanical reduction in the liver's workload. The liver began receiving less fat, the intestines functioned better, and the body responded predictably. But why does this product benefit a mature body so profoundly? The reason is simple. After 50, intestinal motility slows, insulin resistance increases, and the concentration of free fatty acids in the blood rises. The liver is compelled to process more each day than it is capable of. Any method that reduces this influx even by 10% yields a significant result. And bran accomplishes precisely this. It binds a portion of dietary fats and carbohydrates, preventing their rapid absorption, gently regulating post-meal blood sugar, and, crucially, reducing inflammatory processes that hinder liver cell regeneration. In simple terms, this product acts as a filter placed before the liver, intercepting substances that could overload it. Consequently, the liver gains the capacity to focus on its primary task, processing existing fat deposits. This is why many patients report that the feeling of heaviness is the first symptom to disappear. This is followed by a gradual reduction in morning sluggishness, normalization of bowel movements, diminished bloating, and within a couple of weeks, a noticeable return of energy. All of this is a direct consequence of reduced strain. For practical application, very little is needed. Obtain plain oat bran, free from flavorings, sugar, and additives, and dissolve 1 teaspoon in a glass of pure water 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. This is the simplest and gentlest way to begin. If you adhere to this for at least 7 consecutive days, you will feel your body start to operate with slightly more ease, not dramatically, but calmly and naturally. And this is precisely how methods that support mature individuals should function. They support rather than disrupt. When the body receives support and the liver begins to shed its excess load, the next step becomes possible. This is the step that amplifies both mechanisms, nocturnal restoration and the reduction of fat influx, helping the liver not just stabilize but truly restructure itself. And at that point, an even more remarkable effect unfolds, one that many adults underestimate, yet it often proves to be the turning point. While you contemplate everything that has been said, please support this video by liking it and subscribing. This will help more people your age learn that the liver has a pathway to recovery if provided with the right assistance. When the liver receives 2 forms of support simultaneously, evening relief from excess load and a reduction in fat influx through the intestines, the body begins to function entirely differently. However, it is at this precise moment that a quiet, almost imperceptible factor becomes particularly important, one that most people have underestimated throughout their lives. They have underestimated it to such an extent that it has sometimes become the primary reason the liver has failed to recover for years, even when individuals have tried to eat correctly, taken medication, and eliminated sweets and fats. And when this factor is addressed, the changes are more profound than any diet can achieve. We are talking about hydration, the simple, accessible, yet critically important quantity of pure water that a mature body almost invariably receives in amounts far below its requirements. It sounds too simple, but it is precisely the simple things that we often overlook for years. While a young body has a reserve of resilience, after 50, a lack of water directly impacts the liver, not abstractly, but at a biochemical level. The liver is the body's primary filter. It processes toxins, hormones, medications, and fat breakdown products. All of these processes require fluid, not tea, coffee, or soups, but water. When water intake is low, blood becomes viscous, metabolism slows, nutrient transport deteriorates, and the liver is forced to operate with insufficient resources. It's like asking a laborer to carry heavy boxes through a narrow corridor. They can manage, but it will take them twice as much effort. The same occurs in the liver. It can function, but it does so at the cost of fat accumulation because certain processes simply cannot be completed. Scientific research indicates that in individuals over 55, even mild dehydration, just 1 to 2% below the norm, leads to an increase in liver enzyme levels. This is not a coincidence. It reflects the body's diminished capacity to effectively excrete metabolic waste products, which then begin to accumulate. In such a situation, even the healthiest diet yields suboptimal results. The liver simply cannot finalize its cleansing processes. Consider a simple example. A person has pronounced fatty infiltration. They start drinking less coffee, eliminate late-night snacks, and add fibre, but they only drink 2 glasses of water a day. This is insufficient for the normal functioning of enzymes involved in the utilization of free fatty acids. Consequently, even the fats that the body is prepared to eliminate return to the cycle and continue to burden the liver. I have encountered dozens of such cases. People made efforts, did everything correctly, yet saw no results. When we simply increase their water intake, Gradually, a glass at a time, without drastic changes within a week, their enzyme levels began to decline. One 58-year-old patient who had never enjoyed drinking water claimed she wasn't thirsty. I explained that in adulthood, the thirst center in the brain functions less effectively, and the absence of thirst doesn't mean the body doesn't need water. We agreed on a basic regimen: 1 glass in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening, a total of 3. 10 days later, she reported, "I find it easier to get up in the morning." This was the initial sign that her liver had begun to function more smoothly. Blood tests a month later confirmed a nearly 30% reduction in enzyme levels. This isn't sorcery. It's about restoring your blood's natural flow and easing your liver's workload. However, for water to genuinely benefit your liver, you must follow a few guidelines. Firstly, purity is key. Stick to plain, still water, devoid of sweeteners or artificial flavors. Secondly, moderation is crucial. For mature bodies, gulping down large volumes of water is detrimental and strains the heart. It's far better to consume approximately 150 milliliters a few times daily. And thirdly, synergy with fiber. When you incorporate bran into your diet, your body's need for fluids increases because fiber acts like a sponge. Insufficient water can, in fact, impede intestinal function, leading to increased strain on the liver. The most vital aspect is to personally perceive the benefits. For this, there's a straightforward exercise. Tomorrow morning, upon waking, drink a single glass of pure water before your first meal. 2 to 3 hours later, have another, and in the evening, a small third glass about 90 minutes before retiring. No more than that is needed. Simply commit to this for 7 days. You will notice a reduction in post-meal heaviness, your blood pressure will stabilize, and your sleep will deepen. All this occurs because your liver finally receives the essential element for its rejuvenation, a functional environment. When the 3 factors, an unburdened evening, fiber, and water, are combined, the liver receives robust support. But then an additional element emerges, one that most adults remain unaware of. It's not directly tied to diet, but to a process that determines the liver's capacity to shed excess fat. And it is precisely this factor that becomes a true turning point for many, signaling the liver's structural transformation. Once an individual takes these initial 3 steps, lightening their evening intake, incorporating fiber, and ensuring adequate hydration, the liver seems to emerge from a fog. However, it is precisely at this juncture that what has remained concealed for years becomes apparent, because even with a balanced diet, the liver can still be overloaded. The root cause lies not in food or habits, but in the fact that most people awaken already fatigued each morning, feeling exhausted before the day has even begun. A tired liver is one that fails to regenerate overnight, and this brings us to a factor that impacts liver function more profoundly than many medications: the quality of nocturnal breathing and the depth of sleep. It sounds unexpected, but disruptions in breathing patterns during sleep alongside superficial slumber are silent mechanisms that over years contribute to fat accumulation in the liver. This is seldom discussed, but scientific evidence is unequivocal. Individuals over 50 experiencing sleep disturbances face nearly double the risk of developing fatty liver disease, even with a healthy diet. Why does this happen? The liver operates at peak capacity during the night, breaking down fats, neutralizing toxins, and synthesizing crucial molecules. These processes, however, demand oxygen. If one snores, experiences micro-pauses in breathing, or sleeps superficially and wakes frequently, the body enters a state of nocturnal hypoxia, a subtle yet persistent reduction in oxygen levels. During such times, the liver shifts from restorative processes to survival mode. Instead of fat breakdown, it begins accumulation. Instead of regeneration, inflammation is amplified, and instead of improved function, it slows down. Most people fail to notice this. They wake with a heavy head, feel weak, and attribute it to age. In reality, this is a consequence of nocturnal overload. Studies indicate that even mild snoring reduces hepatic blood flow by 10 to 15% overnight. And when episodes of brief respiratory cessation occur, the liver receives significantly less oxygen than required for optimal function. In such circumstances, even an impeccable diet and activity regimen will yield suboptimal results. I had a patient, a 59-year-old man with no vices, moderately active and without overeating, yet his test results were poor. Liver enzymes were elevated and he had significant fatty infiltration. He couldn't understand why. We analyzed his diet and activity levels and everything appeared quite satisfactory. But when I inquired about his sleep, he offered a simple observation. "My wife has grown accustomed to my snoring and I don't hear it myself." We referred him for a sleep study which revealed that he experienced brief episodes of breath cessation every few minutes. Following adjustments to his nocturnal breathing, his liver markers began to improve more rapidly than they had in the preceding 6 months. What is crucial to understand in mature years is that sleep quality ceases to be a secondary concern. It becomes the primary determinant of the body's regenerative capacity. A younger person can endure poor sleep without catastrophic consequences. In adults, the body functions differently. Chronic deprivation of deep sleep accelerates liver aging almost as much as habitual overeating. But what can be done independently without complex procedures? There are several scientifically validated steps that gently enhance nocturnal breathing and help the liver receive its necessary oxygen levels. The first is to avoid heavy meals 3 to 4 hours before bed. A full stomach presses on the diaphragm, which in turn affects breathing. The second is to completely avoid a horizontal posture immediately after dinner. Spend 30 minutes after eating either sitting or taking a leisurely stroll. This will improve diaphragmatic function during the night. The third is to minimize evening alcohol consumption. Even small amounts of alcohol relax the throat tissues, exacerbate snoring, and reduce oxygen saturation. This is not a matter of morality, but pure physiology. And the fourth is light physical activity during the day. Studies demonstrate that for individuals over 50, a simple 20-minute walk can improve nocturnal breathing by 8 to 12%. Yet, there is one more small, practical step you can implement starting tomorrow. As soon as you lie down in bed, place your hand on your lower abdomen and take several calm breaths, allowing your hand to rise and fall gently. This is a basic activation of diaphragmatic breathing. It won't cure snoring, but it helps the body transition to a deeper, more stable sleep rhythm. Practice this exercise for 2 to 3 minutes before falling asleep for a week. You will notice that mornings become smoother and the feeling of heaviness diminishes. When nocturnal breathing normalizes, the liver finally receives that crucial overnight surge of oxygen, initiating natural fat breakdown processes. And it is at this point that the most significant changes occur. But to solidify this effect and make it sustainable, another element is required, an element that enhances liver rejuvenation throughout the day, not just at night, and that is what we will discuss next. This is one of the most underestimated factors, yet it is what helps the liver cease struggling and begin functioning optimally. When individuals sleep better, their breathing deepens, and the liver finally receives the nightly oxygen it has needed for years. A regenerative process is initiated internally. This process is not instantaneous but invariably noticeable. However, it is precisely at this stage that many adults encounter another hidden issue. One that almost no one suspects, yet it impedes improvement more than poor diet or lack of exercise. And if it is not rectified, any efforts will yield only half the desired outcome. We are referring to daytime hypodynamia, a subtle, almost imperceptible reduction in activity common in older individuals, not due to laziness but biological changes. It's a state where steps are fewer than needed, movements are infrequent, and the body remains largely sedentary for most of the day. Many believe that a single walk or a brief exercise session suffices. However, prolonged periods of complete immobility are far more detrimental to the liver than a lack of strenuous exercise. The liver is an organ whose function is directly dependent on blood circulation, and blood flow is activated not only by exercise but also by simple micro-movements, stretching, rising from a chair, straightening the back, walking across the room. After 50, the body undergoes changes, circulation slows, blood vessels become less elastic, and muscles are less active. And if an individual sits for more than 2 consecutive hours, hepatic blood flow decreases by 20 to 25%. This means it struggles to eliminate fats, processes toxins more slowly, and fatigues more quickly. Therefore, one can maintain an ideal diet, sleep well, and drink water, yet progress will remain elusive if the body remains static during the day. This is particularly relevant for those who work at computers, spend considerable time at home, or lead sedentary lifestyles. But even in these situations, complex training is not required. Research indicates that for adults to improve liver function, 3 simple actions are sufficient: regular breaks from sitting, light exertion on leg muscles, and brief accelerations of blood flow 2 to 3 times a day. Collectively, these actions create an environment for the liver where it receives a steady, consistent flow of blood throughout the day, not in fits and starts, but gently and continuously. Let's delve into this further. Firstly, breaks from sitting. This is the most underestimated tool. Every 45 to 60 minutes, simply stand up for 1 to 2 minutes. No need to pace the room or perform exercises, just stand. The upright position activates the venous pump. The diaphragm shifts position. Blood begins to flow more rapidly. This is especially crucial for mature individuals. Blood thickens faster, blood vessels respond more slowly, and the liver is acutely sensitive to this. I have encountered numerous cases where individuals with poor test results began incorporating brief breaks. Within a month, their liver markers improved even without dietary changes. The second element is strengthening leg muscles. This is not about sports or training, but a simple physiological necessity. Leg muscles are the primary pump that returns blood to the heart, and the liver receives blood through a well-filtered supply. Weak leg muscles mean poorer blood circulation, increased stagnation, and the liver working under strain. Therefore, simple movements like calf raises, gentle squats to a comfortable depth, and shifting weight from heels to toes are incredibly beneficial for older individuals. Performing these exercises for 2 to 3 minutes twice daily improves hepatic blood flow more effectively than a 40-minute leisurely walk. And the third factor is short bursts of circulatory activation. Studies show that for older individuals, even 30 seconds of brisk walking improves the liver's insulin receptor sensitivity for several hours. This means the liver becomes more responsive to bodily signals, processes fats more quickly, and actively participates in blood purification. Therefore, I often recommend a simple regimen to patients. Walk at a slightly more energetic pace for at least 20 to 30 seconds, 3 times a day. Not running, not a warm-up, just a slightly accelerated walk. I wish to share a case. A 61-year-old man with fluctuating blood pressure, fatty liver, and elevated test results. He couldn't engage in sports due to joint issues and couldn't walk extensively due to shortness of breath. However, we implemented 3 simple rules: stand up every hour, perform 10 gentle partial squats in the morning and evening, and walk down the corridor slightly faster than usual 3 times a day. After 2 weeks, he reported, I find it easier to climb stairs. After a month, his enzyme levels began to decrease. This was not the result of strenuous exercise, but of dynamic blood circulation. For practical application over the coming week, there is a straightforward exercise. Set a timer on your phone for every hour during daylight. When it rings, simply stand up, straighten your back, reach your arms upwards, and shift your weight from heels to toes 5 to 10 times. All of this will take less than a minute, but believe me, your liver will notice the difference. Make this a habit for 7 days. This is sufficient to enhance its daytime blood flow. Now, with evenings unburdened, fibre functioning as a filter, water aiding liver cells, nocturnal breathing restored, and daytime blood circulation revitalized, we can address the most crucial element, the element I mentioned at the outset, the one that completes the chain and helps the liver initiate deeper cleansing processes than all previous steps. And it is this element that becomes decisive for most adults. When all the initial steps have been taken, evenings are lighter, fibre acts as a filter, water helps liver cells respire, nighttime sleep is restorative, and blood circulation is smoother, the body achieves a state that can be termed a functional foundation. And it is upon this foundation that the key element, the reason many watch my lectures to the end, can be applied. An element that not only helps the liver cope with its load, but activates its profound renewal mechanisms. This is what many patients describe as, it feels lighter inside, as if something has shifted. And this is not a sensation, it is biology. We are referring to natural compounds that stimulate the mitochondria within liver cells. Mitochondria are tiny energy powerhouses within cells responsible for the liver's fat-burning capacity. As we age, their numbers decrease and they operate more slowly, meaning the liver loses its ability to actively shed fat deposits. And this is where one simple, inexpensive, accessible product which many consumed in childhood and considered commonplace comes to the forefront. Natural lemon, not lemonade, not carton juice, not a sweetened beverage, but an entire lemon, complete with pulp, peel, essential oils, pectin, and organic acids. Why does it work? Because in mature years, the activity of enzymes involved in fat oxidation declines. Lemons contain limonin, hesperidin, and pectins, which activate mitochondrial function in liver cells. And increased mitochondrial activity translates to the liver's enhanced ability to process accumulated fat, rather than simply waiting for it to dissipate on its own. Recent research indicates that for individuals over 50, regular consumption of natural lemon improves liver markers within 4 to 6 weeks. Not due to acidity or vitamin C, but due to a combination of active substances that initiate cellular energy balance. Crucially, lemon is effective only when the liver is already partially decongested. If one continues to eat late, drink insufficient water, sleep poorly and remain sedentary, lemon will have minimal impact. However, if the preceding elements have been at least partially implemented, lemon acts as an amplifier. It's akin to providing a tool to someone ready to work. The natural acids stimulate bile production, improve its flow, accelerate fatty acid metabolism, and pectin slows sugar absorption. This is particularly important in mature years because carbohydrate sensitivity diminishes and the liver faces increased strain after every meal. Let me share an example. A 64-year-old woman had struggled with fatty liver disease for years. She tried to eat healthily, drank water, and even went for walks. But progress was slow. We added just one habit, a small piece of lemon on an empty stomach in warm water in the morning. Not hot, not boiling, but warm. This activates enzymes without destroying the essential oils. Within 3 weeks, she reported, For the first time in a long time, I woke up without heaviness in my right side, and after 2 months, lab results showed a decrease in enzymes that we had struggled to achieve for years. This was not a miracle, but the result of consistency. The lemon became the final link that activated the mitochondrial mechanism. An important point, lemon is not a medication. It does not miraculously dissolve fat. It creates conditions under which the liver begins to function as it should in mature years. It helps accelerate metabolism, shed excess fat droplets, and reduce inflammation, but it only works in conjunction with the preceding elements. And this is precisely why this product often proves more effective than pills. It doesn't impose function externally, but aids the liver in activating its own natural processes. However, for lemon to truly assist, it must be used correctly. Firstly, only natural lemon. Secondly, warm water, not boiling, to preserve biologically active substances. And thirdly, a modest portion, a quarter of a lemon or a few thin slices. Large amounts of acid are detrimental to the stomach, especially in mature years, whereas a small portion acts gently and is sufficient. Try a simple exercise. For 7 consecutive days in the morning, immediately after waking, drink a glass of warm water with a few thin slices of lemon. Do not add sugar, honey, or other sweeteners. Just water and lemon. After a week, you will experience a sense of lightness in your body, a reduction in morning heaviness, and improved digestion. This will be a direct reflection of your liver beginning to function more smoothly. When lemon, fibre, water, sleep, evening relief, and daytime activity are combined, the liver receives the conditions under which it is capable of reducing its fat burden, and this is not a quick fix, not magic, but it is a pathway that works reliably, naturally, and without unnecessary intervention in mature years. You have journeyed with me through a comprehensive path, and now you possess a systematic approach that helps the liver function as nature intended. If you wish for such materials to continue being produced, please support this video by liking and subscribing. This helps more people discover that liver rejuvenation is accessible to everyone, provided one proceeds step by step.